Welcome back to Giselle Open Sourced. I'm Giselle, and this is episode 9 of the Great Lock-In. Here is where we're at this week. Continuing on from the decision point from last week, I did end up making a decision. I didn't end up deciding what I had originally anticipated. That was due to a change in the conditions, and so it didn't end up fitting my long-term goals. And because I had spent the first half of the week sitting on the idea what my life would look like if I had made that decision, I had a very detailed plan of what that would look like, down to what my week would look like on an hourly basis based on this decision. And because I ended up going in a different direction, I am left with that plan. So the second half of the week was just readjusting to what the new conditions are and how I can accomplish my goal under those conditions. So not how I expected, but at the end of the day, it was what brought me in the direction to be able to create a plan that was that detailed. So that's my recap of the week, first half, second half of the week. And on the business end, most of what I spent my attention on this week was on creative work. I've enjoyed having a new workflow, especially moving in this new direction. And the weekly monitor task calendar that I introduced last week has been very helpful. Sitting down at my desk, I can immediately see what tasks I need to work on, and then I take the task from the calendar and put it on my main monitor that I am using. So that has made it easier to just stay on task. Paper is conducive to my creative process, and I am starting to allow it. I think I just had this expectation of what documentation and discovery looked like, and now I am just discovering it in the ways that it just does exist in my life, which is on paper. So this is what I was working on the business end, was just writing down all the ideas, developing them, organizing them, and that was due to that decision that I was making, was writing down all the details, the dates, the numbers, and concrete information like that makes it so much easier to plan, especially when it's a long-term goal. You can bridge between those different dates and numbers to what the following one would be, what the conditions are under that timeline. This week was mainly focused on the business aspects. On the personal end, I would like to focus this upcoming week on balancing that business and personal execution. I have X amount of energy, and I find it much easier to put that into creative work rather than my personal, just because I find it to be more monotonous, and I have a harder time associating the long-term value of those things when that's my well-being and that's the basis of everything. So that was my reflection from this week, and I know that it's my tendency, and I think I just am at the point where I can be more proactive about it. So balancing that for the upcoming week, because this week it left me with more than just a minor reset, and I would like to be at the point where it only takes me 10 minutes to reset, and I've done that before, but I'm not there. So that's where I would like to shift some of that focus. What I learned on the personal end this week was how I use paper to organize my life, and I understood it before for my creative work, because obviously you need to track your ideas for that, but I'm seeing how I can bridge in personal writing to, in the same way that I anchor my executive actions and planning with my creative rhythm, I can do that with a free write form. And that's how it's been working, is then I have an idea, oh, I want to dive into that, I can do that in a more formal manner rather than the free write, and that way I know where it is and I can track it. So this video, I am going to dive into how you can design your life on paper. So this is what's known as a journal ecosystem, and this segment has been inspired by, again, new media that I've come across on YouTube. I have this week seen people that are creating videos, not really using their face, but mostly focused on just what they write. And I think this kind of content and form of creation and thinking is in line with what I'm doing. So I've been studying those different formats, I guess, and that's where I realized, oh, it could be beneficial for me to share the ways that I am already naturally partaking in this journaling ecosystem. And part of why I didn't see the value in that is I guess I just thought this might just be something that I personally like. I don't know many people that run their life on paper, but now seeing the communities online, I can see that there are people that are interested in it, and even for myself, just developing this is what I spent the second half on. And this is only the beginning. I have more notebooks on the way. I think without including those, you can still get the gist of what I'm trying to do with my journaling ecosystem. That's such a good word. It is an ecosystem. It's alive and living and structure. So here's my journaling ecosystem. And I use paper really as my manager. I can act, but then when I don't know what's next, or if I come across changing conditions, I have to go back to home base. And this is pretty much my home base. Starting with my BMO. This BMO was gifted to me on my birthday, and I actually mentioned it earlier in this series when I started long form journaling. I haven't been using this one for that long, but it is central to my system, and you'll see why, but not for long. I have one of the new journals that I have coming in is for my daily homework, and as I've been breaking down my system and how to enable myself for success, I have thought back to the times when I have been able to keep my space to a 10-minute reset margin. And that was when I was focused on my daily homework, which I set that up for myself. I spent time just checking in with certain variables that I need to maintain every day in order to set myself up for success the following day. And what happened, the reason why I don't do that anymore is because I used to do my daily homework. I used to do my daily homework in this journal, but I also brought that up in the last video. When I would write, I only end up using this much of the page, and even with that, it's a bunch of white space, so it just felt wasteful. And then as my understanding of my process has evolved, I converted my daily homework journal into my business strategy journal. So usually how it goes is I'm writing this one. This one's just like a check-in. If I feel unclear about what I'm doing, if I've lost track of what's going on, you start with a blank page, put down your mind, and then from there you just naturally start to bubble out what is most urgent, or it can even surprise you. Something you might not have even thought you would write down, but then you're engaged with what's on your mind, or at the least, sometimes I just end up writing a paragraph, and after that, my mind is clear and I'm ready for the next step. But until then, you can just stay here and write, and it could be a hobby in its own, just writing in your journal all day. It is fun, I will say. And once I'm writing in my BMO and I have something else, oh, I need to do that sounds like a good idea to write down for later. I've got my business brainstorm, so it usually goes from the BMO to business brainstorm. This one is, and there are distinctions here. So this one's a free write, disposable kind of writing. So free write being low structure, just putting ideas down. It doesn't matter what it looks like, what it ends up becoming. It's just to get the ink down, to start flowing. And then once I have something more concrete that I think, oh, I do want to reference this, because what I mean by disposable is once it's written, it's done its job. That's exactly what I need it for, is just to express it, to document it, to experience it. Once it's written, you move on to the next thing. But if it's something that I do want to reference, I would put it in my business strategy book. And this one has a bullet design, which I really like for the strategy because I can structure it myself I can divvy up the page in whatever way I'd like. And then if at any point in that process I have a random thought or I want to keep track of that, and that's what I'm doing with all of these, is as I'm going through this isn't something that I'm manufacturing. I'm not trying to have a paper flow, I just do. And by the end of it, my books end up looking like this. They're all pancaked. And when I saw that, I realized I'm just opening threads and weaving them one at a time, which for me keeps it stimulating. It's not just sitting down and writing my journal and getting bored, but it's keeping my mind rolling while keeping track of all the things that are coming to mind. And especially in a creative flow, you want to allow yourself the space and time to shape an idea and to put it down. And that is exactly what my journaling ecosystem has done for me. And I have my incoming journals arriving soon. Maybe I'll include them in next week. But this week I am using the schedule that I set up for myself last week that I thought I would end up using with that past opportunity, and slowly jumping into that. That covers the week and my media. It's been paper, YouTube. I'll include the channels that inspired me in the box below. I am finding interesting communities, and there are people that are very intellectual. It's not intellectuals within communities, it's communities of intellectuals, and I'm seeing some overlap, but I don't think I'm quite in those subjects, so I'm researching. Thank you for joining me this week, and I'll see you next week.